Hello, and welcome to Craft with Miss Craft Princess. I am your hostess, Miss Craft Princess. And if you're not following me on social media, these are my social media handles. And in the blue, Ms.CraftPrincessDesigns.com is my website. There you can find all of my beautiful handcrafted items. I am a handcrafted stationery and custom gift designer. I specialize in greeting cards for all occasions as well as custom gifts. So, tonight we are going to be making a really cute card, and look at this pretty cardstock that I have, this pretty paper. I just love it. Oh, and I was playing with something, and I was working on some leather, and I engraved my logo on the leather and wanted to show you. But anyway, back to the card. This is the cardstock we're going to be using, the pretty paper, and it's double-sided. And I was trying to decide which side, and I decided that the plaids was the side I was going to use to be my front piece, the piece that's going to show. So, very first thing I need to do is to cut this down to size. So tonight we're going to be making a pleated front card. Something I haven't done in a while, but I'm excited about it, and I think you're going to like it too. So we're going to cut our pretty paper, and when we get it cut down to size, then we will be ready to go ahead and score it. So we can put away that our paper trimmer for right now because we don't need it. And I've got my handy dandy scoreboard, and I just love this thing because it helps me score my paper and get some really crisp score lines. So we have several scores that we're going to make. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that. And just trying to make sure that that paper is seated right in the corner, because if it's not, then my score lines will be crooked, and that would not be a good thing. So let's go ahead and get started. And we're just we're doing like 1/2 inch and whole inch scores, just all along the paper. And just I take my time, because sometimes if I get a little too happy with that stylus, then I'll get outside of the track. So we're just taking our time and making sure that we get nice, clean score lines, because we're going to be doing some folds, and so it's really important that those score lines are sharp. So we can put our scoreboard away because we are done with it, and we're going to bring you down a little bit so you can see better. Now, you're not going to be able to really see the score lines, but I can see them, so we're just folding them. And it's like, it's like a pleat, right? You valley, and then mountain, valley, mountain. And we will just keep folding those score lines like that until we get that whole piece folded along the lines that we made. So I was trying to show you the lines here, but I think it's hard for you to see it just because of the patterns in the paper. They're both bold and a little busy, but Anyway, we'll just keep scoring. We'll just keep folding. We'll just keep folding the score lines till we get them all done. And we're about done. And now, when I lay it down and kind of position those pleats, you can see the pleated front that we were going for. So now, in order to make sure that these pleats stay together, we are going to use some glue. And I'm choosing liquid glue because it gives me a little wiggle room. Like if I get it in the wrong spot and I try to lay it down with a tape runner, then it'll be ruined if I don't get it right, and then we have to start over, and we're not trying to do that. So we're just going to glue each one of these pleats, and I'm just making sure that that glue, rubbing it with my finger, just to make sure that that pleat is completely, glued down and that we don't have any problems. And we're just going to do that for each one of those pleats. I love this paper. It's just really pretty. And it's a good quality paper too. It's not that paper it's not that super thin paper, which can break, crack when we are doing, scoring and folding, but it's also not that super thick paper, which can also crack when you are scoring and folding. So it's just like it's like the perfect weight, if you will. And so we're just gonna keep doing that, mashing it down, rubbing it down, which gives an opportunity for that glue to work into that paper, and you can see the pretty folds. And so now we've got to do the same thing on the back side, because again, we don't want this flopping around on our card. We want everything to be just nice and tight. So I am actually going to speed this part up a little bit because you've seen me glue these folds down. So hang on. Okay, if only I could work that fast, but we are back. It is glued down, nice and tight, looks just like I wanted it to. Bringing the card base in and laying that on there. And while that is cute, that is a little plain for me. And I don't do plain. So I decided to take the orange cardstock and layer, because there's a lot of orange in that pattern paper, as you can see. And so I want to pick that up. So I am going to cut some orange cardstock, leaving about 1/4 of an inch around. I personally like the 1/4 of an inch borders. It's not too much, so that it overpowers the top, but it's not too thin either. And so I really, that's just my go-to, if you will. So, of course, I didn't glue this down. It'd have probably been a lot easier if I had either measured it, which I just was not in the mood to do, or glued it down, and then I could have cut around. So now now I'm having to fidget with it just to make sure that it doesn't move, so that I get that 1/4 inch all around, because I want an even border. So Anyway, doing that, and now I know that I've got what I need. And so instead of using liquid glue, because we have so many pleats here, I want to make sure that everything is glued down properly, that nothing is going to fall apart. So I brought out my handy dandy ATG gun. It is super sticky tape. I love it. And nothing falls apart. And then I just decide, you know what, let's just put an extra, so I did it going horizontal and going vertical. Was it overkill? Maybe, but my goal is to make sure that a Ms.CraftPrincess Designs card never comes apart. And so that is what we're doing. So now we're gluing it down. And just mashing it, make sure it's okay. That looks good. And so now I'm laying. Now see, that orange border already brought something to that card, but I'm still not quite satisfied. I still think it needs a little bit more. So remember that paper, I had more of that orange paper, that orange cardstock left. So I'm going to cut another piece. So the card base is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It is a standard A2 size card. So this panel right here, I'm cutting it at 4 by 5 1/4. And that leaves me my favorite 1/4 of an inch border all the way around. So, of course, I can't put the orange on the orange, but I still have some of that paper left, and the opposite side works perfectly. And I know that they coordinate because it's 2 sides of the same paper, right? So I'm just going to trim that one a little bit. And so then this one would be 3 3/4 by 5. Yeah. So that we have the 1/4 inch again all the way around. So then what I would do is lay that piece on the orange. Lining that up. And then, because before I glue anything down, I'm always looking to be sure. And then put that piece there. Now we're getting somewhere. I like that. You might say, well, that's an awful lot of cardstock. It is, but when you put it in the envelope, it takes a standard stamp. Doesn't add to the weight or the price of mailing it in any way, but it just dresses it up, and that's what's so important to me. I just always want to produce beautiful dressed up cards. Okay, so I'm just, I use the grid lines on this black mat. It's a pretty black mat, but the grids help me make sure that I keep everything lined up. So, because we don't want a wonky card. So I've put that first layer down, and now I'm going to bring out the ATG gun again. Now right here, you probably could use liquid glue if you wanted to, but I've got the ATG gun right here, so I might as well use it. And I am just making sure that I've got it nice and straight. And then I am going to glue our first panel into the second panel. And it just builds it up, and I just love those colors and in that paper. And it's just really pretty. And so now putting some more double-sided tape on it, because that's really what it is coming out of there. And we are going to glue this panel down to the card front, to the card base. Because all of this is the card front for our card. And so we're going to glue that down to the card base, making sure that we get it even. And then you see again that 1/4 inch all the way around. And there we are. That's our card front. We're not finished because we still have to put a sentiment on it. But, and now I'm trying to figure out, do I want it to, what orientation I want for it. But before I do that, I've got to cut out a sentiment. And so instead of stamping, I decided to use some dies that I had. And it's going to say hello. And so as you see, I'm still going with that orange because we still, have that orange, some more orange paper left. And now this is where I'm trying to decide which orientation do I want the card to go, vertical or horizontal. It doesn't matter for what the sentiment's going to say, but just trying to figure that out. But now I've got my little die cutting machine. I'm using a little manual one today. And just going to use my plates and put that die and that cardstock on there and die cut the word hello. So I'm just getting that all stacked up. I did not bother to tape it down. I guess I'm being a lazy card maker today, but I didn't feel like digging out tape to tape it down. So will it stay straight? Let's see. If not, I have plenty of that orange paper, and so I could cut it again. But typically I do glue it, but I just, not glue it, but, tape it. Get some low-tack tape and tape it, the die to the cardstock. But we didn't do that today, so. And I ran it through a couple of times, if you notice, because that is a very intricate die. And I wanted to be sure that I didn't have to pop it back in there. I wanted to make sure that it cut clean and that I didn't have to pop it back in there again. So now I have a little pokey tool, and that helps me loosens up that die cut from the die. When it's intricate like that, sometimes it's just kind of hard to get them out. So we are popping that out, and there we go. It says hello. So we'll clean off our little workspace a little bit, and now it's time to put hello on that card and figure out, do I want to turn it vertical? I like that. It fits fine. Or do I want to turn it horizontal, which I like that too. And so this is just, some stuff I go through. The beautiful part about it is that the paper that I use was not directional. If I had directional paper, then it'd be a no-brainer. I mean, I would be, I would have to go one way or the other. But because this paper is not, polka dots can go any way. Those plaids can go any way. And so it just really was, what do I want to do? And so I decided in the end that I was going to go horizontal with it. So now I'm just putting glue on very lightly putting glue on the hello. Though I see that a blob of it did come out. I have sometimes wet glue is not my friend, and sometimes it is. But on something as intricate as this die, as delicate as this die, there was no way I could use my tape runner. So we're just giving little dots of glue behind it. And you see that little blob there? I'm just kind of working it in, and so that it doesn't squish out on my card. And then I'm lining it back up using those grid lines so that I can place my hello. And I eyeball it. I've been doing this long enough. I do have like a little T ruler that I could have set up there, but I've been doing it long enough that I can just pretty much get it straight. Isn't that pretty? I'm so glad that I took the time to use all those papers. So now I want to put a few little jewels on the card, and not something I do all the time, but I have all of these jewels. They're also good for shaker bits when I make shaker cards. And so trying to decide, do I do the light orange, the dark orange, or the white? And when I opened it, I decided that I wanted that vibrant dark orange. It's so pretty. And so I've got my little pick-me-up tool, and I'm just grabbing some of those. And I always do odd numbers. And so, it doesn't need too many. And so I decided on 3. I usually go 3 or 5, but I decided on 3. And I just kind of move them around, play with them, try to see what the best placement is. And then when I get it the way I like it, I will use some glue to adhere that. And just kind of fiddling around with them, making sure that I get them the way I like them. And yeah, so I think I like that placement. I think I'm pleased with that placement. And I was trying to put that back on without having because I didn't want to bump it. But anyway, more of them came out. I was trying to avoid that, but it's kind of day I'm having. So got my little pick-me-up tool, and it has like a little putty end, and that's what helps me pick those up. And so I'll pick it up and then put me a little wet glue, just a little smidge where I want it. And then I use that pick-me-up tool to set it back down, and that's where it'll stay. And then I just kind of use that pointed end to just kind of make sure I kind of seat it, if you will, into the glue. So doing the second one, and mashing that down. And then we have one more. And so we'll just kind of grab that one, little dot of glue, and this is just kind of some little finishing touches that I'm putting on the card, just to be sure, just to, I don't know, just to zhuzh it up a little bit. Every now and then I do that. Like I say, I don't use these often, but they really made a difference on this card. And so this is my new tape, or I'm sorry, glue dispenser. I'm kind of liking it. It you can put the glue in there, and it's got a little needle nose, and it kind of stands up in there, and then it keeps your glue from clogging. So when I pick it up, that it's ready to be used. And so it's really good for people with arthritis. I don't have arthritis in my hands, but I just thought it was just kind of neat, and so I just like to kind of show it off. A lot of times I'll use it like that, or I was using it like that before I got that. So just a neat little thing I just wanted to show y'all. One of my gadgets, one of my mini gadgets. So anyway, okay, I moved that out of the way, and this is the card. This is the finished card. Isn't it just so pretty? Hello. And so it's just a cute way to say I'm thinking about you. And I actually made this for a friend that I am going to be sending this to her because we haven't spoken in a while. And I want to say hello. So that is our card. Thank you so much for joining, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time on Craft with Miss Craft Princess. And until next time, remember, giving a handcrafted greeting card is like giving a hug. Oh, yeah, that's right. I did another one. This was the first one I did, and I did the hello in green to pick up the green in the leaves and of that. And so I have one turn horizontal and one turn vertical. So there you go. Which one do you like better? Just different papers, same technique. And I just think that they both turned out beautifully. Yeah, just something special to send someone. And so those are just really cute. So thank you again for joining me. Again, these are my social media handles. You want to see some of my work, you can visit my website at Ms.CraftPrincessDesigns.com. And I really, really appreciate you joining me. And we'll be back for another craft with Miss Craft Princess. And until that time, you remember, giving a handcrafted greeting card is like giving a hug. Bye.